Hey guys, Elizabeth, Curly Head Country Gal. I think I've been pruning my apple trees all wrong.
Uh-oh.
And you can see the mistake I made a couple of years ago that's still affecting the trees. So the information I'm using to prune my apple trees, I've got about 45 here in the orchard, is from Stefan Subkowiak, and he's a permaculture orchard guy. And I thought that I was doing what he recommended for the past couple of years of pruning my apple trees, but I didn't get any apples last year. I got a few the year before. This is our third year here, so I'm hoping I can improve this year. Now I've already gotten like 30 something trees pruned, and I think I didn't do the best job.
Oops. Oops.
So let me show you why. After looking back over my notes from Stefan, I think that I'm pruning too much. I've heard and read that you're supposed to prune about a quarter of an apple tree every year, and whereas with the peach trees like we have over there, it's about a third of the tree. But I wonder if I'm pruning too much. Just this morning I was watching one of Stefan's videos where he was saying, I think he was saying what not to do with pruning, and he mentioned that when you heavily prune, you encourage a lot of growth, but you discourage fruit. And so I wonder if that's what's been happening. I thought that I was supposed to do that because I have this established orchard and there were tons of these false chimneys coming out. One thing Stefan says is that you're supposed to have one chimney that goes all the way up, and anything that's more than half the diameter of the trunk needs to be removed. And so for the past couple of years, I've been doing my best with the limited information and trying to remove the false trunks. So unfortunately, that means removing a lot of the tree. I honestly am not sure if I should have removed this much or just left it. I don't know. But he talks about letting an apple tree be an apple tree and having this one central chimney and then having 12 to 15 branches coming off of that. So I did kind of anticipate that the first few years wouldn't be as productive as I'm pruning more. So this year I have more questions than answers when it comes to pruning the orchard. But I'll try to give you an update later if we actually get a fruit harvest. So like and subscribe if you want to see how that turns out. But I'm going to do my best with the information that I have. Now I took some notes from Stefan, and I've got those here. One thing that he recommends doing when you're pruning an apple tree is focus on L, B, L. So the first L being low branches. He actually keeps some low branches, and I had it in my mind that you were supposed to remove low branches, so I've been removing all my low branches.
Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs.
So maybe on these next ones I can leave some, and he says to leave them so that the critters can have something to eat instead of the trunk. And then the B stands for big, so that means that if you find a branch that's over 50% of the diameter of the main chimney going up, that should be removed. So this would be an example of that. We have the chimney going up, but then we have this really large branch that's over 50% of the width of the chimney. So I'm so hesitant. I'm so hesitant to cut it, but it sounds like that's what you're supposed to do. And then the last thing, the last L stands for line. So if you've got lines of trees, you're supposed to prune branches that are gonna eventually run into the trees next to them. So this is a pretty good example of that. I've got this branch coming out, and I like the angle pretty well. It's kind of going down, but it's headed right toward this tree. So I'm just not really sure what to do with this established orchard. We moved here 3 years ago. This orchard's at least 7 or 8 years old. So there's a lot of things that I would have done differently if we had been here from the beginning. And so now I don't really know how to correct it. So I'm just gonna do my best to finish pruning the trees to the best of my ability, and I hope this year that we can actually get some fruit off these trees. We finally got a peach harvest last year, so maybe it was just a year off with the drought and with me heavily pruning last year. And then he recommends also removing branches that are going in towards the chimney, because eventually they're going to be a problem anyway, and you want to remove the suckers that are going straight up that are trying to be a chimney. And then the last thing that he recommended was just running your hand along the bottom of the branch, and anything that's on the bottom, just remove that. And with a tree like this, he says that when all these suckers come out, it's kind of a symptom of a deeper problem, just like with our health. So this was where I removed a false chimney last year, a big one, as you can tell. And so obviously a lot of the suckers are coming up trying to help, but I'm going to be removing those. The big bummer is that I can't find my clippers, so I'm gonna have to use my loppers for everything, and anyway, I'll do my best. So as you can see on this tree, I'm just gonna start by focusing on 12 to 15 branches like Stefan recommends, 12 to 15 branches coming off that main chimney, and pruning away the rest. Now, one thing that he said in a video that I reviewed this morning that I know Gauchi also recommends is to have your branches actually kind of coming down, not going up at a 45-degree angle or even at a 90-degree angle, but actually going down to kind of practice bearing the weight of the tree. So this is a really good example of that, where it's not below 90 degrees, but at least it's not like this one, which is super steep, and then really I think I should remove it. So the carnage is great, but I think I'm done. I'm pretty happy with how things have turned out. This tree here, you can see there's some good things going for it. It's got kind of a second chimney started here, but I'm trying to kind of encourage it to go down. And then up here we've got some branches that are on their way down that could bear the weight of some apples. This guy over here looks dead. So here's the mistake that I mentioned at the beginning of the video, is I really underestimated how, I don't know, how sensitive trees are, I guess. And I put this, what's it called, paracord around the tree to try to pull it so that the chimney was more straight up and down, and it really digs into the tree. So there's definitely a reason why they have these kind of almost hose type things to go around trees to encourage the trunk as you train them, because it doesn't dig in.
Well, you say we try that one again, huh?
Yes. Yes, without the oops.